All right? So let's talk about how we're wired. Flip over to page 10. Now, before we get into DISC specifically, we're going to talk a little bit about some quadrants, how we get our quadrants. So at the top, we have this vertical, I knew I was looking for a word, vertical quadrant. And so at the top of this, we're going to use the word active. Active. When you think of the word active, what do you think? Go. Busy. Mm-hmm. Involved. What else? Outspoken. Why'd you look at me when I said that? No, I was kidding. Huh? Vibrant. What else? My parents. Your parents. Yes. Active. What else? Extrovert. Good. So that's at the top. And at the bottom, we have kind of the opposite. We have reserved. Awesome. That's what awesome. Peaceful. What else do you see in reserved? Cautious. I see follower. Okay. Calm. She's like, I don't want to be mean to them. I know. And they're going, I'm not sure why that's mean. Right. It can be perceived as bad, yes. So reserved. What else? What else do you see with reserved? Easygoing. Or like flexible. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Another word we can sometimes use is passive. We a lot of times use that in communication, so we focus on the reserved word, but passive, maybe not quite as engaged, right? Quieter, calm. Yeah. And so you have at one extreme active, and the other extreme reserved. And so are either one of these bad? No. In fact, it's a spectrum even. When I say a spectrum, it's a continuum. It's not like I'm active and I can't be reserved. Or I'm reserved, I can't be active. Right? And so people are kind of, when you get to the middle, closer you get to the middle, the more you're a little bit of both. But in general, I may be more dominant in the way I perceive. But some people are kind of sometimes active and sometimes kind of not active. And so they're closer probably to the middle. But then does anybody know somebody who's like really active? Like they are just, woo, always on? Yeah. What do you like about that? I'll put my hands down now.
Yeah. I like the leadership and the take charge.
Leadership, take charge. Mm-hmm.
And plus it's kind of motivating too.
Motivating, good. Good, yeah. What else? What else do you like?
Everything she said.
Ditto, okay.
And the energy.
Write this down. Nobody ever.
It's on video too.
I think energy. Sometimes it lifts me up.
Energy. Yeah, an active person can bring energy to a room.
They get things moving.
Moving, yes. They like to be active, right? Good. What are some possible negatives of someone who's active? Overbearing.
Yeah.
Overbearing. Exhausting. Yeah, sometimes like, okay, just take a Valium, please. It's like, wow, you're like, when they come in, they're sick, like somebody you maybe work with, and they're like, yeah, and they come in, they're sick, like, oh, I'm just not feeling well. You're like, yes, I needed that today. And you're like, thank you, Lord, for making them have the flu. No. That'd be mean. Okay. And so there's some positives and negatives about active people. What about reserved people? What are some positives about our reserved folks? You can count on them. Yeah, they're there. They're going to think before they talk. That was pretending that I just did that. Thank you. Wow. It's like you know me. Okay, what else?
They're more rational.
More rational?
They don't just jump to do something. They're like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Collect our thoughts and
let's see. Plan together. They like plans. Let's take our time. We don't need to rush this. Good. Well, these are all great things, and this is actually what we see, right? That if you look at page 11, that active, they are fast, they're direct, they don't take a lot of pauses. They're going to keep talking, and I kind of think of a car salesman. Hey, here we are. We're going to sell this car today. You see them on TV. Or there's like this attorney commercial I love, the long arm of the law. You've been in a car accident, bam, I'm going to get you. it's like, okay, he's active. He's but then there's another one. I felt so bad for this poor attorney, actually, because someone told him, I think, that, you need to make a commercial. He's like, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I want to be your attorney. I will get you your money. And you're like, oh, that's just so not you. Oh, someone steered you wrong, But, and he's a little bit more reserved, and he's probably a really good attorney, right? But, what do you sometimes do in a commercial? You start judging, going, oh, I want the long arm. I want the guy that's going to get me that. Not this guy that's going to think it through. Wait, what? That doesn't make sense. And so, so then our reserved people do tend to be a little bit slower pace. They tend to make more indirect statements. Like, so an active person will say, why are you doing that? An indirect person, or a passive person or a reserved person may go, so if a person were to do this, why do you think they would do that? Same question. But they're going to ask it in a much more indirect, roundabout way because they don't want to rock the boat as much. And then they're going to focus a lot of times on details. They're going to want to know maybe more detail of a story, or they're going to want to give you the details and process through the details. And they're just going to listen, not going to interrupt. In fact, if you're in a phone conversation, sometimes you may have to sometimes go, are you still there? Oh, yeah, I was just listening. Okay, I just wanted to make sure we didn't get cut off. Because I talked for like the last 30 minutes. You didn't say anything, and I just now realized it, right? And so, they're going to have these differences. And just recognizing first and foremost, before we get into anything else, that these are different. But they're not good. They're not bad. They're just different. And we need all. What we're going to find is we need all these things. And so that's just one axis. We have a whole other axis. And one of the ways I like to say is that active and reserved are how you look at engaging the world. You think about that, right? An active person is going to engage the world in a very direct way. A reserved person is going to engage the world looking, processing. And that's how they engage, right? So if someone's not engaging the way you engage, isn't bad, it's just different. Well, then we also have task and relationship. And this is our horizontal axes. And so these are on our left and right-hand side. Now, if I look at our left-hand side, we're going to talk about task here. A task-oriented person loves the task. Let's get in. Let's just get stuff done. Who here loves to make lists? Anyone? Boy, those hands went up. Who doesn't like lists? Who hates lists? Boy, those hands went up as well. And so who's right? The task person is like, well, I am, because I know what I'm trying to get done. Why make a list?
I make a list every morning.
You make a list every morning. Why is that?
It's old school calendar. I write down every single assignment I have to do that day. I check off every single thing, and when I don't check it off, I move it to the next day.
Just
every single day.
Wow. Yeah, have you ever heard of the Franklin Covey method? That's that same idea that you write down and I didn't get this, so I'm going to put this to my next day. And
it's gotten me ahead I'm in school, so it's gotten me ahead all semester. I've been ahead of my homework every single day.
So you're making sure you get all your homework done. You know what's due, you know when it's due, and you know how much time it's probably going to take you to get it done.
Yes. Why did you talk on that?
I just got exhausted listening. No, I'm just kidding, because that works for you. What happens if something, though, that you really want to get done doesn't get checked? I know you said you move it, but...
I felt kind of behind this week alone. And I'm like, I didn't do this.
And did you feel like it was not as productive?
Yes.
Yeah.
I told him, I'm like, I had such a productive day today. I got my homework done for Friday, and it's Tuesday. So I feel wonderful.
And that feels good. And that is a view, so you feel successful when that task is done. Yeah. And that is absolutely good, right?
For me.
For you, exactly. Now, others may look at that and go, whew, wow, it's tiring. But
then it's relaxing for me because I'm like, oh, well,
you know it.
to do that.
You can process it. That is so cool. And that is what a lot of what task is. And a lot of task folks tend to be a little bit more guarded, especially with their time, because they know where their time is going to go. And that is, if I were to come up to someone, say, come up to you and say, hey, I want to add this to your agenda, basically, yeah, your eyes just got really big. Yeah, that's like, no. No, that agenda was done last week.
Yeah.
We know what we're doing, but I can talk about it next week. Like, no, let's just add this in, right? That can be painful for task people. Or, hey, I know I said this was homework, but let's change it to this.
That happened to me yesterday.
How'd you feel about that?
I was not happy.
Not happy? Yeah, because that changed the rules.
Like, I've already printed out what you said we were doing today. I'm not doing it, and I have to go reprint something.
Exactly right.
I'm not happy that
And so
I do this.
task folks look at the task with success. And so if there's something left on the list, that can be very painful and feel unsuccessful. Even though they may have gotten 20 things done, that 21st things they really thought they could get done, and because they want to manage it, it's very formalized. And when you think about in talking to someone, they can tend to be a little bit more serious because they're really focused on what do we need to do to get done? What's going to help us move forward here? And they're not really looking at as much the relationship. Now, doesn't mean they're not relational and nice people. Just means that they're viewing it differently, and that they have a very objective focus. And that here's our objective, here's the hill, this is the hill we're going to take, here's what we need to do to get there, to different levels of detail, which we'll talk about. Then on the other side, we have relationship. Now, relationship folks, these are people, right? Relationship people. They view success through the relationship. And they tend to be a little bit more casual in their body language, right? Where the other tasks are more formalized because they're like, hey, I want to make sure we're connecting. Are we doing good here? Are we having fun? Right? They tend to be a little bit more informal because again, we're talking stereotypes here for a moment. We're talking the end of the spectrum, like we do with our active people and reserved, is that they tend to, let's just talk. Let's just, let's rap. I heard people say that. Like, someone said to me, really, hey, man, let's just sit down and rap. I'm like, okay, we're speaking different languages. And so I made a judgment about that perception. Anyway, and so they tend to be, though, more informal, and they tend to be a little bit more friendly. A lot more smiles and relaxed, and let's just hang out. And they're focused more on the team. How are we doing? And if a bunch of people are working on a task, the task person's going to say, how are we doing on your task? Right? The relationship person will say, how are we doing? How are you feeling about this? You feeling good? Is this what you needed? Do you need something from me? What can I do to help? Right? And so they're very different. Who's bad? Neither. Yeah, I wasn't trying. No, it's neither. Sorry, it was neither are bad. Who's good?
They're both good.
They are both good. Yes. Who's good when there's a big project to get done?
The
Task? So
It depends.
Okay, it depends.
It does, because if there's a big project and the team isn't working together, you could have all the lists in the world, but
If you have a dysfunctional team, that task probably is not going to get done the way you want it done.
right.
And that's one of the things. Both really are important. Who's important to lead that team?
I think the task person's a good leader.
Task person's a good
I
leader?
think the relationship person's a good leader to make sure you use this.
And there's no right answer to that question. But that's why I ask it, right? Because we're going to take our perception and say, well,
Depends on that.
I tend to be more relational, and I think if the relationships are doing well, you're just going to get it done, right? It's like, I got this done. That's awesome. Yeah, it's like, well, you guys figure out who's going to lead. I'll just go do the work and make sure we actually get it done successfully. Yes. I love that. So which one do you think you are? Who thinks they're more task? We have one task. Who thinks we're more relational? Oh, you're so outnumbered. If she were back here, she would agree with you. You're good with that.
I'm just fine with it. I really am.
Because you don't care if you're with relationship people, right? They're the ones that need help. That's awesome. Well,
I have my list. I'm fine.
you're good. Well, so this is our backdrop, per se, right? These quadrants, or these things, help us form these quadrants that we're going to look at. So if you turn over to page 15, now we've added some different colors to them, and now we have At the top, again, still active, reserved, and then left and right, task and relationship. And now we're going to split them even more. And now we're going to split them into 4 quadrants, D, I, S, and C. And here's the thing to remember about this. About 85% of the people you meet are not going to be one of these quadrants. They're going to be multiple quadrants. I think that was one of the big aha moments for me when I really started going through this material specifically, because I used to think, well, okay, I'm an I or I'm a D or whatever, and I'm like, but sometimes I'm like this. Why is that? And what you're going to see as we do your assessments in a little while is that you actually kind of are, most of you, most likely, statistically, will be a blend of these. And you'll have more than one dominant. And so we're going to help you process through what does that mean.